Welcome, everybody, to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima, and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today, we have on our show Dr. Jed Diamond, and he's an accomplished author of many books, but more recently of The Enlightened Marriage. And I'm so excited to have him on our show today because today he's going to tell you the 5 most terrifying words that you could ever say to a man. So, before we jump into it, Jed, I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit about you and how you became a psychotherapist that really focuses on relationships and, more importantly, men's issues in relationships.
Well, thanks, Suzanne. It's really nice to be with you and to be talking to your audience. I think it's really true. We teach what we want to learn, and I really wanted to learn how to have a good relationship. I had gotten married young. My wife and I were together for 10 years, had 2 wonderful children. But the relationship ended, and I got in another relationship and vowed that this time it would be different, and it was different, but it wasn't better. And that relationship ended. And I said, before I try again, one, because I wanted a good relationship. Secondly, as a psychotherapist and a marriage counselor, I felt somewhat ashamed to be telling other people how to have good relationships when I wasn't able to do that myself. So I went deeper. I did my own work on myself and really learned about what makes a great relationship. And now I met my wife, Carlin, third marriage for both of us. We've been together so those of you that think you can't, third time really can be the charm. She and I have been together for 37 years, and personally, that was something that now I've learned to share with others. The other thing was professionally, I found that there was a lot of good information for and about women and what women needed and, what women's lives were like and how women could, what they needed and how they could get a good relationship that they wanted, but not a lot about men and what women needed to know about men, what men needed to know about themselves. So I began to, look at my own experience, a men's group that I've been in now for 38 years that my wife says that's probably one of the best things that ever happened to our 37-year relationship is that you've been in a men's group for 38 years. So I've learned a lot about men and relationship, and hopefully that can be of help to others.
Of course it is. That's exactly why I asked you to be a guest on the show. So let's jump into it. Jed, tell us the 5 words that are the most terrifying to a man.
Well, I think many people either know them or have heard them or really they don't want to hear them again. The guys, if there are any guys out there listening, are probably already halfway out the door. They don't want to hear them. But they're a very simple set of words that I call, honey, we need to talk.
I completely agree. I tell this to my clients all the time. Never use those words to a man because it's like nails on a chalkboard. Yeah. And he really just feels like he's going to get reprimanded for something, right?
Right. Yeah, and it's a bind for women because often the reason that women want to talk is, number one, they want to be connected more deeply to their partner.
Right.
They want to feel more cared for. They want to feel more caring. They want to feel that they are a team, that they are together. And often that through time and relationships start to pull apart over time, and it can be quickly in a relationship when you're first getting to know the person, and it can happen when you've been in a long-term relationship over time. So when she says, honey, we need to talk, what she's thinking is this is going to bring us closer together. If you ask a woman, well, why did you say that? Well, I wanted better communication. I wanted to resolve some problems that we were having. What the man hears, and you touched on, what he hears is she's going to tell me how I screwed up again. It's going to be a criticism. It's going to be some way that I messed up. And here's something that women often don't know, and I'll share it with you, is that what men want deeply is to please the woman that they're with. And here's the thing that many women don't know. When their woman is unhappy or she doesn't feel cared for, not only does he feel her pain and feels bad, but he feels ashamed. He feels that he's failed. And so when she says, honey, we need to talk, or a variation on those words, what he registers is, I'm a failure. So she's saying to herself, we're going to, get our relationship back on track. What he's hearing is, I'm a failure again. I've screwed up again. I'm no good again. Or she's going to point out why I'm doing something wrong. And he sees this as going to be another thing that's going to pull us even farther apart. So that's the dilemma.
So, and I love that you shared how a man feels, because as women, all we're trying to do is, like you said, bring us closer together, because we just want to resolve whatever it is, and then we can move on. Until we can resolve it, we as women, we can't move on, and then we remain mad and whatever, or upset. But there are times, quite honestly, Jed, and I'm sure you'll agree, even as a man, that there are times you need to talk in a relationship. So what's a better way a woman can bring something up to the man that she's with so that it doesn't sound like he's going to get reprimanded or criticized or put down for what he's done? So how can she bring it up so that he's open to the communication?
Well, there are some things that women can do, never fear. And one of them is this, is that if you think about it, and you and I are doing it right now, we're looking at each other, even though we're doing it, via a computer. I can see your eyes, you can see my eyes. And this is a type of communication that generally is more comfortable for women than it is for men. And this has an evolutionary root to it. Mm-hmm. Women are the ones that nurture children. You hold the babies, you look at them, you got to see them, you hug them, you touch them. And that's part of then the way women learn to communicate. Mm-hmm. I call it face-to-face communication. We look each other in the eye. If you commented, I'll just share this, when we first started the interaction, you said, you're wearing your glasses. There's a shine. I can't see your eyes.
That is true, ladies. You didn't see that part, but I did. I said, you should take off your glasses so we can see your eyes. Right.
So I said, I can do that, and it's a little blurry because I need glasses. But what I realize is that, again, women, it's very important to women. Now, here's the thing for men. Let me give you, an insight into men. Evolutionarily, you think about what men were doing while women were at home taking care of the babies. They were out hunting, and they were out catching wild animals. Well, here's the thing. The only time that men have eyes on them when they're out hunting is when they're being stalked by a predator. Really.
That's funny, because it's true, right?
So when a woman goes, look at me, and we can remember when we were little kids, little boys, look at me. Yeah. I want you to look at me. And the boys freeze. The girls go, oh, yes, look at me. And so, again, these are things to know. So here's the take home with that. I tell my couples, if you want to talk to a guy, and not all guys, I mean, I have a brain that's more like a female brain. I'm a therapist. I talk a lot face to face. It's easy for me. So, but for most men, many men, think about it, if he is having trouble hearing you when you talk, instead of sitting down face to face, I say go for a walk. Side to side communication often is the way men are more comfortable. think of guys, we got the NBA basketball finals coming up. If you're into basketball, the Warriors, go Warriors.
Yay!
And Cleveland, yay. But a basketball court, they're running down the court side by side. They're looking at each other, very good communication, very precise communication, but not directly. It's side by side. So I found many couples will tell me they tried that. I went for a walk with them, and we walked side by side. We held hands, or we just walked, in the woods or in the park. And I talked to him, not about, honey, we need to talk. We just talk about how I'm feeling, what I need, what's going on with me. How are you feeling? What's going on with you? And often guys that wouldn't talk, that were terrified, that held back, all of a sudden now they're talking, they're interacting, and they're finding, hey, this isn't so bad. And the women go, oh, I didn't know that about men. And now that I know that, it makes sense. And many women can go, okay, we can talk. And that's been a great gift to many, many couples that I've counseled when they learned how to do side-by-side communication and how to talk without looking directly in each other's eyes.
Yep, and I've tested this out myself. And it's interesting when you use that about running down a basketball court, the visual that I got was when two team members are running side by side, and they're working towards the same goal. It's not that they're, trying to confront each other. They're both going towards the same goal. Right. So then it kind of translated into the walk as the couple. So I love that tip. That's a great tip. So, yes. Jed, I would love for you to tell our audience where they can find you.
Well, they can find me. Come to Willits, Northern California, if you're in this area, north of San Francisco. Or you can go to my website, which is menalive.com, menalive.com. And I have a special gift for your audience if they'd like to come visit. I have a very, very powerful video that you can get free if you sign up for my newsletter, which is also free, and get my articles and other activities that I do. But the interview that I did is with Iyanla Vanzant. And many of your listeners and viewers know that she is on the Oprah Network. She has a show, Iyanla Saved My Life. I've known her for many years, and we did a class together that she was very gracious enough to be one of the faculty. And in this video clip, she reveals very personal sharings about her own blocks to having good relationships with men and the things that she wants both men to know and women to know about how do you get past the blocks? What are the things that get in the way of a good relationship? And it's a very, very moving, very poignant video that we're happy to send your viewers, and I think you'll find it very engaging. You'll learn some things about Iyanla you didn't know, and I think something you'll be able to put into practice in your own relationship.
Awesome. Well, everybody go get the free gift. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on the Single and Stiletto Show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you'd like to view the videos, go to singleandstilettos.com. If you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. If you'd like to get our free ebook on the 3 secrets guaranteed to attract any man based on scientific research, just click right here on the video or go to singleandstilettos.com.